Greetings and welcome to the World Numismatic News as we take a quick look at the top 10 Lincoln cent variety coins from the 1930s. Starting relatively late in the decade, we look at the 1938 S penny with a repunched mint mark. In fact, repunched mint marks look to fill up about half of this list overall. On this coin though, the S mint mark is produced directly to the south of the original position, which appears to have been placed slightly askew from its intended positioning. You should be able to see the upper loop of the S peeking out from behind the final mint mark. Die state is, however, a factor and should also be considered here, as earlier die state examples are without a doubt clearer, and conversely later die state coins will not display as dramatically. In 2018, a 1938 S over S penny in a PCGS slab with a grade of MS67 Red was sold at auction for $109. Then we have another repunched mint mark, and again it is from 1938, but this time it hails from the Denver Mint instead. On this variety, the initial D was struck slightly to the west of the final placement, causing the straight bar of the D as well as the top serif to protrude slightly from behind the final D. The same is also true inside the cavity of the D, where the inner rounding can be seen as indicated here. During a 2020 coin auction, a coin like this with a grade of PCGS MS65 Red was sold for the sum of $111.63. For the next variety coin, we look to the very beginning of the decade with the 1930 S over S coin, and yes, it is in fact another repunched mint mark. For this coin, the final placement of the S was directly south of the initial striking, and the result is that the top of the secondary S can be seen directly towards the north of the primary mint mark. The effect is quite unmistakable, but can be more subtle at times as well. In 2016, an MS64 Red graded coin from PCGS was sold at auction for the amount of $124. And then, in the number 7 position, is what I'd say is easily the rarest coin on this list overall, and also the first double die variety to boot, the 1934 double die Obverse. This is a rather interesting case, which is characterized by the remnants of the highest points of the numbers 9 and 3, appearing in the fields just southwest of the date. Other minor doubling and also a few die markers do exist to confirm the variety, but this is the main place of interest. It appears that since the offset was so significant that the press operator realized his mistake before full pressure was applied, he was then able to adjust the hub onto the die before completing the hubbing process. In 2014, Great Collections sold an example of this coin at auction in a PCGS slab with a grade of F15 for $248. And then we have another repunched mint mark coin, but unlike most of the repunched mint mark varieties mentioned up to this point, this one is surprisingly difficult to track down. Not impossible, mind you, but it does begin to pose a significant challenge. The May 1930 D over D penny sees the Denver Mint's D mint mark restruck directly south of its initial placement, with only a slight remnant of the first impression remaining as proof of its existing directly to the top. Examining the auction record, we have to go back all the way to 2012 when Stax Bowers sold an example of this coin with a grade of AU50 from PCGS for $851. And then, neatly at the halfway point, we examine the 1939 double die Obverse Lincoln cent. Although the spread on this variety is extremely strong, it does not display in a very dramatic fashion, as the initial hubbing attempt seems to have been rather weak. For this variety, look towards the date to see the spread in the 1 as well as the first 9 of 1939. Lincoln's eyelid is also doubled quite dramatically towards the north. Other places of interest include his ear, the letters of In God We Trust, and the letters of Liberty, with the doubling becoming ever more apparent on those letters as you move closer to Lincoln's bust. In 2019, a coin like this with a PCGS slab and a grade of MS67 Plus Red was sold at auction for $2,350. And then, as we move closer to the top position, the varieties do, rather predictably, become more renowned and sought after. A perfect example of this is this 1935 double-die Obverse specimen, where we do have some moderate but very eye-pleasing pivoted hub doubling. The date is once again the best place to look for this coin, as basically all of the numbers are doubled to some degree, but the 3 as well as the 5 of 1935 do in fact stand out. The We Trust portion of In God We Trust is also of particular interest in this case, with doubling nicely towards the left of all of the letters. In 2019, an MS67 Red graded example from PCGS was sold at auction for $3,055. Then to 1934, with the final repunched mint mark to appear on this list, in the form of the 1934 D over D Wheatie Ascent. For this coin, the D was again placed directly south of the initial impression, but here, almost the entire first punching is still visible, with both the top of the D, including the top serif, but also inside the cavity of the D, where the bottom part of the first impression should still be discernible, as well as the bottom serif just towards the left of the straight bar. A very neat effect, if I have to say so. In terms of market value, we find a PCGS graded coin with a grade of MS67 Red that was sold at auction in 2018 for $3,745. And then, for the top 2 positions, we have a pair of coins, both from 1936 and both double-die Obverse varieties. The coin that we are looking at right now is the FS 102 type, and the best place to spot this would be to examine the date. There should be clear doubling on the date, resulting in doubling that displays towards the southwest on all of the numbers of 1936. Then, to distinguish this coin from the next one on this list, go towards Liberty. Pay particular attention to the R, where you see one of the working hubs for 1936 had a broken leg on the R of Liberty. It appears as though this coin's die was first impressed by that particular hub, and then received a second squeezing using a different hub with a normal R, resulting in what we see here. During 2019, a PCGS graded MS65 Plus Red example of this particular variety coin was sold at auction during the August ANA show for $3,600. And then, to the number 1 position is the other 1936 double-die Obverse variety, the first and definitely most prominent amongst its siblings. Here again, the date should immediately draw your attention, but this time the doubling displays to the northeasterly direction instead. The hallmark of the previous coin is not quite so apparent here, but the word Liberty is very nicely doubled overall instead. What's more, the letters of In God We Trust are also quite nicely doubled as well. This is a very sought after red book listed variety that should be really on everybody's watch list. In 2018, a PCGS graded MS65 Red coin with a very attractive luster indeed was sold at auction for $8,400. $400. If you like this video, then feel free to check out the rest of the videos in this series as well that covers every decade that the Lincoln penny has been issued. Subscribe to WNN and activate the bell icon so that you'll know when new videos are released. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.